tonight in Richmond, Virginia, a game with significant playoff implication. It's the Richmond Kickers against Nashville SC. Hi everybody, John Emmett along with Ronnie Pascal. Tonight the Kickers, who've been playing out the string for a while now, wrap up a tough season. But Nashville SC in the heart of a 5-team battle for basically 3 playoff spots. So at least half the guys out here will be playing with considerable desperation tonight.
Yeah, I think the Richmond Kickers are playing with something to prove for next year. They're all playing for contracts, whether it's with Richmond or with another team in the USL Championship or League One. For Nashville on the other side, you have a very ambitious organization. They got granted an MLS franchise in 2020, so they're really looking forward to that. Off the field, attendance has been great. Organizationally, they're doing really well. On the field, they're right in the thick of things, and they've got it kind of in their own destiny.
They do need a win tonight. The schedule shapes up nicely for them, but failure to get 3 points could be calamitous for the first-year franchise postseason hopes. Meanwhile, the Kickers just trying to finish out strong, get one more home win, and perhaps edge ahead of Atlanta in the standings. Second meeting of the year between these two teams. In late August, Nashville rolled to a 4-0 win. Offensively, the big story set pieces. Defensively, when we talked to David Bulow, he mentioned how compact, organized, and smart Nashville was defensively. And that really starts with the veteran center back, Liam Doyle. It's not often you get to talk to about guys from Douglas, Isle of Man, but Doyle found his way from Isle of Man to Ohio State, to Swope Park Rangers, and now he's the backbone of the Nashville SCD.
Yeah, for being a younger-ish player, he brings a wealth of experience. He's that hard-nosed defender that every team really wants to kind of solidify their back line. He's loud, he's vocal, he could score goals going forward on set pieces, but he really is the guy who makes that defense run.
Meanwhile, for the Kickers, a tough loss last week at North Carolina FC, game that Richmond led into the second half. They did provide some offense, and some of it came from Prince Agamang, who joined the Kickers a little more than halfway through the season, looked impressive against Espanyol, and has found his way into the lineup, and last week scored his first professional goal.
Yeah, Prince brings a wealth of experience. The Kickers historically have always looked at Ghanaian players as someone who can come in and really help their offense start to click. Prince has come in, he has that wealth of experience, he's played throughout Europe, and it was good to see him finally get on the scoreboard last weekend.
Native of Ghana, who has played in Ireland, Portugal, and Spain before coming to Richmond. So for Nashville SC, Matt Pickens has done the bulk of their goalkeeping this season. The MLS veteran with 42 MLS clean sheets. Their back four has been remarkably consistent over the course of the last month with Washington, Doyle Davis, and Kimura. Up top, Taylor Hume scored 2 in the first meeting between these two teams. Tactically, they're interesting because they've done a lot of different things.
Yeah, the key here is the consistency aspect like you talked about. They're a really compact team defensively, and they're really hard to score on, and that's because their back four have played together tremendously this year, and they have a lot of games under their belt together.
Meanwhile, for the Kickers, Trevor Spangenberg once again in goal, the former USA Chivas man, with a back four that's about as strong as it's been in the last month. They've had to juggle people with injuries, but you have Roberts and Williams, 2 established center backs. Umar taking the holding midfield role of the 4-1-4-1 with the injury to Braden Troyer. And up top, Brian Shriver. It's been a dismal year, but Shriver has stood out.
Yeah, whether he's scoring goals or serving assists, he had a great ball to Cordovez last weekend against NCFC for one of the goals. It's a good lineup. I think they're starting to find their rhythm a little bit. Offensively, they're keeping possession, they're completing passes. They just need to really tighten things up defensively, and hopefully that could start tonight.
So folks filing in for the home finale. Kickers trying to end a 8-game winless skid. Nashville trying to solidify a playoff spot. The kickoff is next on ESPN+.
She works as a meteorologist at CBS 6, but Nikki D. Ray does all kinds of jobs. Roll call.
I'm Nikki D., the construction worker. I'm Nikki D., the insurance agent. I'm Nikki D., the doctor. I'm Nikki D., the fast food cook. I'm Nikki D., the referee. I'm Nikki D., the teacher. I'm Nikki D., the beekeeper. I'm Nikki D., the race car driver.
Nikki D., Can You Be Me? On CBS 6 this morning.
And back at City Stadium, John Emmett along with Ronnie Pascal, Richmond Kickers and Nashville SC getting set to put a wrap on the home season for the Kickers, and it's a game where Richmond's playing for pride and Nashville SC in a frantic battle for the final playoff spot. And actually, they're not mathematically out of the 5 seed. The only teams that are sewn up are the top 4 that will get first-round home games. After that, it is a dog pile.
Yeah, you knew coming into this season that there was so much, I guess, diversity within the league, so much competition, that it was going to be a dogfight going into it. So it's great to see that they could extend the season. All the teams are playing more games, going later into the fall, which is really cool. But you still get the playoff excitement where you've got all these teams fighting for playoff spots. And for the Richmond Kickers, like I said, they're really fighting for next season, whether it's here in Richmond, whether it's somewhere else. These players all have something to prove. So hopefully that can kind of show tonight.
Matt Pickens, the veteran, is out of Missouri State, and he'll be facing a fellow former Bear in the sticks at the other end, Trevor Spangenberg. They're about 9 years apart, but both played their college soccer at Missouri State.
It's you don't see that very often, do you?
You do not. Matt Franz is our central referee tonight. Nashville SC will get the first touch as the Kickers are in their traditional home red for the season finale. It is 79 degrees and a perfect night for soccer at City Stadium, a campaign that has featured so much dismal weather. We're going out on an absolute beauty as Nashville goes to work with a probing ball for Hume, headed away by Roberts. And Eaton plays it back for Spangenberg. Austin Yearwood. He probes for Schreiber. But Davis sees that out for a goal kick for Nashville SC. First-year franchise, but as things stand, they will not be in the USL long as the Red Army raising an early ruckus. Washington. Decent pressure from Bame. Now it's the veteran Kimura. 34-year-old with considerable MLS experience. Davis. And now Doyle. Doyle probing for Mensah. Spangenberg there to clean up as we are just underway in Richmond and scoreless. Not the first 40 minutes in Nashville, pretty even. So once Nashville unlimbered their set-piece game, got out of hand quickly.
That's been a common theme for Richmond this year, where they're typically in the game in the first half, playing pretty well, creating some chances. And then second half, whether it's fitness or mental, they seem to fall apart, especially recently.
Eaton wins a throw for the Kickers. Oscar Umar. Milan Roberts, the Canadian. And the soccer landscape changing considerably for next season. You have to think that Roberts will be highly desired by teams in the new Canadian Premier League next season. Greg Bame, VCU product. Now Mikel Williams, the most experienced of the Kickers. Here's Schreiber with an opportunity off the inadvertent header from Fernando.
I was going to say it was a great layoff by Luis, but didn't really mean to. And Schreiber trying to seize the opportunity.
Williams ought to get some points, though, for dropping a pass right off the head of a teammate.
If he could have gotten his head out of the way, I think he was in behind.
So some early excitement from the Kickers, who were productive at North Carolina FC last week with a little change in style. Eaton stepped in and was stepped on. Free kick coming for Richmond.
Yeah, Brandon Eaton starting to find his legs at the right back position for Richmond. With Alex Lee going to dental school a couple months ago, they tried a couple guys there, and Brandon's done a really good job. I think Coach Beulah really likes him, and hopefully as a young player, it's a position he can grow into.
And that really wasn't his jam when he showed up here. Here's Gonzalez. Now Prince Agamang off his first kicker's goal last week.
Yeah, looking back at the kickers throughout the years, they've done that numerous times. One of my most consistent right backs was Tony Williams, who was always an outside midfielder, converted to right back for the last couple seasons of his career and did a great job. Kenny Cutler, center midfielder, converted to right back and did a really good job for us. So it's not the first time that's happened.
Kimura playing back for Pickens. Nashville built like a lot of the top teams in this league with kind of a core of really experienced guys who had more than their share of opportunity in Major League Soccer. Yearwood there to clean up at the end. Fernando. Bame broken up by Reed. Eaton back to play it. Wynn trying to close him down. Here's Reed wearing the captain's armband tonight for Nashville. And Doyle moving forward. Sends Yearwood racing back. Speculative ball headed cleared by Davis. It winds up a Richmond throw. Here's Greg Bame.
I think it's going to be important tonight for Brian Schreiber playing that lone forward up top for the kickers to not just make runs in behind, but show for the ball a little bit too and kind of be that target that Cordovez usually is. You know, unfortunately, Cordovez is suspended because of his red card last game. But he was really starting to find his stride and score some goals and be a good, productive target forward.
Scored one last week, and then not long after was sent off for simulation. A point the kickers vehemently disputed, but because it was a second yellow rather than a red, there was no appeals process, so he is out tonight. That's the only change in the kickers lineup tonight. Is Gonzalez back in the 11 with Schreiber sliding up top and Cordovez unavailable. The other 10 were all in the starting lineup at NCFC last week. Only one change for Nashville tonight. That's in the midfield, and that's not a surprise. They've had a really stable lineup. Yoding. Now Washington and Davis. Washington has to chase with Fernando trying to be a nuisance. Pickens ball found Wynn, and then a whistle. And a free kick coming for Nashville. Wynn draws a foul.
Yeah, Umar almost won the ball off the clearance by Pickens and just recovering gets a little bit of a stab in there and takes him down. Gives Nashville a free kick in a pretty dangerous spot.
And they have had considerable success off set pieces. 3 of their 4 goals in the first matchup between these teams came off set pieces. Reed will strike this. And his service volleyed out by Hume. Tucker Hume, a brace in the first meeting, University of North Carolina product. 10 of Nashville's starting 11 tonight are products of American college soccer, and that includes the guy from the Isle of Man who wound up at Ohio State. That Ohio State Isle of Man recruiting pipeline has been so successful over the years.
It's probably one of the coolest names of a place.
There's probably not a lot of pencil necks coming out of the Isle of Man. Doyle, broken up by Agaman. Fernando finds Umar. Eaton pressing forward. Now Gonzalez, and he has A goal for Shriver. And that required work on the back line from Doyle. More Fernando. Taken away by LaGrassa. Yearwood hustling back to play it.
Best opportunity of the night so far for Richmond, actually for either team right there. Great ball in behind by Raul Gonzalez, and Shriver just doesn't give up on it. But as Shriver's making that run to get to the ball, there were no other runs in the box for the Kickers.
Eaton and Wynn scrap. Wynn closed him down. Mikel Williams in the 10th minute, no score, but Richmond asking the early questions. They're getting a lot of possession. Well, that's been normal for the Kickers in the second half of the season. They were under 50% in the first meeting between these two teams. And had only about 47% last week. And David Bulow said that was by design. He's kind of backing off on trying to build out of the back.
Yeah, I think you've got to kind of find the balance. I know he's trying to implement a different style, a totally different strategy than what Richmond's used to, but you have to remember he's doing it with players that Lee Kalishaw brought in to fit his style. So you're going to have growing pains, and I think you've got to try to find that balance between the two of implementing the new strategy, but also doing what you've got to do to have an opportunity to win the game.
Reed plays a wide ball for Wynn. Williams there to deny a ball that was intended for Hume on the doorstep. Nashville gets their first corner of the game.
Good run forward there by Taylor Washington, the left back for Nashville. Also grew up playing for FC Westchester, my old club team in New York. But good little overlapping run down the left side, and ball beats Brandon Eaton, whips the ball in a dangerous spot, and Mikel Williams does a really good job of clearing that ball.
First corner of the match. Spangenberg there to punch it partway clear, but only as far as Wynn. And Williams got ahead for Gonzalez. Akinyote interrupting the possible counter. Here's Reed. Now Washington. Oh, Wynn got ahead to that, and nearly an opportunity on the doorstep for Mensah. Gonzalez in some space. He's closed down by Kimura. Yearwood able to clear. Davis heading it forward, but Agaman stepped into it. Now Reed. Akinyote picked off by Bame for Gonzalez. Now Shriver. Little space for Shriver. And behind Fernando. Eaton keeping the attack alive. Oscar Umar. Umar's ball off Bame. Scored it out by Washington for a Nashville throw.
That opportunity for Richmond came off of really good pressure at midfield. There were a couple players swarming for the ball. Raul's able to slip Shriver wide left. He looks up, he just picks Fernandez out on his left foot, unable to connect. But it's been getting better for Richmond. Every game this season, they're getting opportunities.
The Red Army's got some youth auxiliary as part of the crew tonight. Gonzalez got a piece of that, but Mensah presses forward. Davis now. Doyle. Washington. Doyle's ball broken up by Austin Yearwood. The Charlotte native feeds Agamang. And a nice job by Bain to go to ground and keep possession. Gonzalez switching sides, now Mikkel Williams. Umar out for Milan Roberts, product of the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. Gonzalez, Memphis University product. And now Williams. Agamang finds Fernando. Fernando's had some wonderful spurts this season. Consistency still an issue for the 20-year-old. Mensah pushing forward. Yearwood hustles back. And Spangenberg will restart play the other way. Approaching the quarter-hour mark, no score. And it's a game Nashville desperately needs. At the moment, on the outside looking in by goal differential. NCFC holds the 8th spot. But depending on how things shake out by midweek, they could be the 5 seed. Fernando closed down by Washington, and Richmond gets a throw.
Looking at Nashville's schedule, I think they've definitely got the most favorable of the teams that are fighting.
They have Toronto FC at home Tuesday, and then we'll finish with a daunting game against FC Cincinnati, but again, that will be in Nashville. Probing for Hume as he and Williams battle. And then a hard run by Wynn, who tried to keep that ball alive and winds up down right in front of the Richmond bench.
I just slipped on the asphalt over there, former racetrack.
Yeah, they've probably heard from opponents having to play in a baseball stadium outside Nashville. Not all that much fun. I try coming to Richmond, and hey, there's the racetrack. Eaton and Wynn battle. Throw goes Nashville's way. David Buelow usually really good at cleaning up loose balls in front of the bench. Loose humans is a little different deal.
Yeah, he did check on him, though, which was nice.
Hume went down, no whistle. Bame finds Shriver. Now Yearwood has some space. Here's Gonzalez. Shriver. Bame. Shriver. And Nashville choosing to concede a corner there.
Just a super dangerous ball whipped in there by Brian Shriver. Great little combination, 1-2 with Greg. Whips it into a really dangerous spot. And if there's someone for Richmond making that run to the near post or even through the top of the 6, it's an easy tap in.
And Nashville thought runners were coming. Washington played it out. Short corner, now Shriver with service, and Milan Roberts got ahead to it, but it winds up a goal kick.
I know we're only 17 minutes in, but it looks to me like Richmond's a team that's got something to play for tonight.
They do seem to be playing with considerably more jump than a team that has a chance to really put themselves in a strong playoff position tonight. Doyle broke it up by Agamang. Good high pressure there. Now Shriver. Oscar Umar, the Villanova product. Eaton. Agamang in traffic. It was picked off by Akiyode. Williams, the Trinidad and Tobago international, back to play it. Now Yearwood. Gonzalez. And a good battle with Kimura. winds up a turnover, and Wynn trying to press the Nashville advantage. Wynn against Umar. Lays it off for Washington. Now Mensah. Mensah turned year one around. Spangenberg got a piece, but Nashville right there to make it hurt. Hume with his third goal of the season against the Kickers. And it's Nashville SC 1, Richmond 0.
Yeah, I'd say that was totally against the run of play, but really well done out wide by Mensah. Trevor Spangenberg makes the first good save, and you have some defenders in front of goal just kind of watching the rebound, and Nashville's the first one to respond to it.
And Tucker Hume, the North Carolina product, with his 6th goal of the campaign. 3 of those at the expense of the home side. And Nashville strikes first. Here's Wynn.
And that whole play for Nashville started with a giveaway by Raul Gonzalez trying to play a square ball at midfield, gets picked off, and Nashville just attacks with numbers. Kind of same old story for Richmond. That's what we've seen this last half of the season.
David Bulow, no doubt, having some flashbacks. Akiyode trying to dig that ball free. Bame wins possession. LaGrassa trying to close him down. Eaton. Banged away by Doyle. Now Umar. Here's Yearwood. Gonzalez. Greg Bame. ECU product for Agamang. Now Gonzalez. Well, Richmond continues to press the issue. End product elusive. And Nashville with a goal that really was against the run of play. They enjoy the early advantage.
Yeah, and even though Richmond's had the possession, they've created chances, but they really haven't done anything to worry Matt Pickens too much. Hasn't had to make a save yet. They haven't put a shot on target.
Eaton able to cut Mensah off, but foul behind the play where Williams is going up for a header, and it winds up a Nashville free kick. The Nashville franchise in its first season, shortly after the announcement of their birth, came the somewhat surprising announcement that Nashville would be awarded an MLS franchise in 2020, and that ownership group bought into the Nashville SC group so they could begin to build a base.
Yeah, and they've done a pretty good job of looking at other franchises that have kind of had that same path, where they're USL team for a couple of years, get an MLS franchise, and build the brand.
Reed headed as far as Wynn, who turns it on net, and Spangenberg there for the save.
Yeah, and actually my old goalkeeper coach in New York with FC Westchester, Mike Jacobs, is the technical director for Nashville, and that was his job. He got hired a couple months before the announcement, and they said the #1 goal is to bring MLS to Nashville. So it's a great city, really good fan base. They've been selling out every game so far, 9,000 fans, and they're really trying to grow that brand. So when they do play that first season in Nissan Stadium, they're able to bring in 50, 60,000 fans.
Select the official soccer ball of the USL for the latest select products and special offers. Please visit www.selectsportsamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. Red Army looking on as Nashville getting set to restart play here.
And the Red Army really has been fantastic all season for Richmond. Even tonight, coming in, last home game, great numbers over there, great energy. Probably the loudest we've heard them all season.
This turned into a pretty good crowd. Of course, it's a spectacular night. And So much of the season was snow and hurricanes and lightning storms that wiped out our broadcast location.
We really have hit everything this season here in Richmond, haven't we?
Gary Smith is the head coach at Nashville, and he has already a Major League Soccer championship ring. He was the 2010 head coach at Colorado. Here's Fernando. Broken up by LaGrassa.
I didn't even realize that was the same Gary Smith.
It is the same Gary Smith. He has also coached in England's League One, League Two. He was a coach in the NASL for a bit. Former lower division player in England for nearly a decade. Yet another English coach in this league. There are more English coaches in the USL than there are in the English Premier League.
I'm not surprised with that one.
That number might be reduced by one. I didn't see the Manchester United score at a college football game to broadcast this afternoon.
Well, in glorious Manchester United fashion, for the first time ever, they were down 2-0 within the first 10 minutes. Mourinho made a sub in the 19th minute. And 2-0 at halftime, and they storm back to win 3-2.
That's a shame. Here's LaGrassa.
As a Man U fan, I kind of agree.
Mensah. Win unable to get the head turned all the way. That's a goal kick.
Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. Good ball in there by Mensah.
Yeah, kickers may be fortunate here that Reed wasn't able to direct that on frame.
Yeah. So some interesting tactics by Man U. They came out in the second half with 3 center backs, Smalling, Matic, and Pogba.
Curious. Gonzalez in midfield. Kickers here trail 1-0. Tucker Hume heading home a rebound. The difference thus far. Here's Shriver. Now Gonzalez. Agamang. An interesting, well-traveled career for the native of Ghana. Played extensively at Limerick in the Republic of Ireland League. Here's Eat. Agamang looking for Shriver. Doyle there to say no and provide a souvenir. Williams fending off the high pressure of Hume there. Now Yearwood. Gonzalez. Yearwood. Closed down by Kimura. Richmond throw coming. Kimura 171 Major League Soccer games. Veteran of more than a decade.
It's not too bad. A little bit of experience back there.
Yearwood trying to win a corner against the veteran, and did so. Kimura actually played for Smith in Colorado. Also spent some time in Portland, New York Red Bulls. And another guy who played American college soccer from Japan to Western Illinois. Yearwood again for a header by Gonzalez. And Pickens walking the line. He's done the bulk of the goalkeeping this season. Tonight, his 24th start of the campaign, his 302nd professional game. Major League Soccer, some time in England, Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, he's definitely been around. Played the last couple of years in Tampa Bay in the NASL.
Reed with a layoff for Mensah. Mensah's ball, and Reed right there to punish the kickers.
I don't think he knew much about that one. Mikael Williams tried to clear it, hit it off of him.
Now just keep running toward the goal. Good things will happen.
Put yourself in the right spot. Yeah, you know, it's a decent ball whipped in again by Mensa, in behind the backs.
Oh, that might be an own goal.
He hit it off of Reed. Watch this. He comes, he clears it, but clears it right into the side of him.
Yeah, he did. He really didn't know much about that goal.
No, not at all. But if you're in the right spot and you put a dangerous ball in behind the backs, anything can happen.
So 29 minutes in, Mensa has played 2 outstanding balls into the box, and they've both been redirected into the back of the net. And it's a 2-0 Nashville lead. On a night when the kickers have carried the flow for most of the first half hour.
Yeah, it's funny how momentum and luck kind of can carry on throughout a season. Where, you know, sometimes you go through a spell of a couple weeks where you're not getting the bounce. I feel like it's been that way for the kickers for about 6 months now, where they're not getting the bounces.
And Michael Reed, the native of Albuquerque, University of New Mexico, which is discontinuing their men's soccer program at the end of the current season. Giving Nashville SC a 2-0 lead on a night they need the 3 points. For the moment, we're being told officially it is an own goal off Mikael Williams.
I think they're going to look at that and overturn it. It's pretty clear it was off of Reed.
Is it like England where they have a bunch of like group, just bitter old men sitting in a small room that review all these things, and if anything comes anywhere near a defender, it's an own goal?
Just a bunch of bitter old men.
That goal committee thing they've got is you guys are no fun at all. Here's Akiyode for Nashville. Now Williams for Umar. Here's Gonzalez. And Milan Roberts will try to reshape. Get the best photography from around the league, plus highlights and updates throughout the week on the USL's official Instagram feed. Following us at Instagram.com/USL Soccer. Half an hour gone first half. Nashville leading Richmond 2-0 at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia.
You know, this 30 minutes kind of sums up it's a microcosm of the kicker season. Really some good things. Some good things going on. Great possession, good attacking soccer, creating some chances, and just defensively not getting it done.
Doyle for the extremely dangerous Mensa. Kimura's service headed clear, and Fernando trying to start a counter. Agamang and Ronnie Pascal knows his business. We have now been told that the bitter old men in the small hut have met, and Reed does get credit for the goal. Brandon Eaton, in a collision with Washington, wins a throw.
The bitter old men of USL.
What's the name of that thing in England? The goal something committee?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
I think the Queen actually appoints those guys. Fernando floats it in, and Pickens gobbles it up. In the 33rd minute, Nashville out in front 2-0. Mensa's probably the happiest guy in the park about the change that actually finally gets an assist off of 2 great balls.
Yeah, he's been dangerous out there. Every time he gets the ball, he just wants to take Austin Yearwood on.
LaGrassa drops it back for Doyle.
And that's what you say when you're coaching players. Get it wide, just whip that ball in behind the back 4. You never know what can happen. And now on 2 occasions, it's kind of come true.
Wynn digs it free for LaGrassa. Now Akiyode against Agamang. Here's Wynn against Gonzalez. No whistle, and Williams controls. Gonzalez trying to gallop against Reed. Here's Shriver. Now Bame. Agamag. Fernando. Fernando delights the crowd to make sure everybody in the bar is awake.
But there's the difference on just that final pass, you know. Mensah gets out wide, is able to whip a ball across. Fernando, I don't know if he's trying to shoot that or cross it, but a better option, just hit that ball hard and low across the 6-yard box. Who knows what can happen?
Luis Fernando, the native of Brazil, he's had some really bright moments this year. The fabulous Open Cup effort against Penn FC when he scored twice. That was after he had started the season suspended due to a red card in the final game of last year. Kimura plays it back for Doyle.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how many of these players come back next year to Richmond, or where they end up going.
Well, it's going to be a wild, wild west of an off-season. Here's Mensah. Probably never a better time to be a not quite MLS level prospect.
Tell you what, the opportunities out there for these guys, you know, whether coming out of college, you know, you have guys who sometimes aren't even starters with college programs who are getting opportunities to play at the next level.
Visiting with the VCU coaching staff a couple of weeks back, and they were saying they think they have 12, 13 guys that'll play pro soccer, including their backup goalkeeper, who's been in about, what, 2.5 games in 2 years?
Maybe if you add up all the minutes, he's hit about 2.5 games. It's, I mean, he's a really good goalkeeper. They fortunately have Mario Sequeira, who's a Costa Rican under-20 national team kid. But he's a really good goalkeeper, and VCU's program is probably the most professional program out there. But Greg Boehm's a great example. I mean, he was probably the number 5 midfielder at VCU last year. Didn't really start, played every game, but didn't start or play a lot of minutes. Makes his way onto the Kickers lineup, and because he's prepared and ready, he's starting games now.
Here's Umar, and there's Bame.
I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, 1, 2, maybe 3 kids on VCU's roster right now with the Kickers next year.
Here's Gonzalez.
Speaking of VCU, they are actually celebrating the 40-year anniversary of the men's soccer program. Started in 1978. This weekend, they had a dinner last night, and they're at the game right now against Duquesne.
Eaton wins a throw there in the scrap with Washington. 37th minute, 2-0 Nashville in front. Eaton wants to restart it, but the referee has a different idea, Mr. Franz.
That's something you don't see very often, though. Blowing the whistle to redo a throw-in to bring it further down the field.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, wait a minute, you're supposed to be down there.
Usually you back it up a little bit.
Yeah, guys are usually cheating the other way. Agamag in traffic with Wynn, who was able to deflect it out. And it winds up a goal kick. Through 37 minutes, Nashville has done what they've needed to tonight to put themselves in a strong playoff position. They could go to host Cincinnati next Saturday night. Just a chance to play some of the guys on the bench. They take care of business tonight and Tuesday. Mensah now on the left. Win for LaGrassa.
If they do end up making the playoffs, they're probably going to be one of the teams that's going to be really hard to beat. There's something to be said about being one of those teams that has to kind of fight and claw your way into the playoffs, as opposed to being a team that's been in a playoff clinch spot for the last couple weeks and don't really have much to play for. Where a team like Nashville, the last couple games have all been basically playoff games for them.
coming off a 1-1 draw with New York Red Bulls 2 last weekend. Doyle trying to find Akiyode and was fouled in the process. He's down, and Nashville bench not very happy right now.
Yeah, there's Greg Bohm with a little bit of a late tackle. Trying to put pressure on the ball, make something happen.
Gary Smith offering helpful officiating hints. First to the beleaguered fourth. Here's Boehm, and he does get there late.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything malicious. Just trying to put some pressure on the ball. Got there a little bit late. Looks like Greg Bohm's going to go in the book, though, anyway.
Yep, there's paperwork attended to by Mr. France. Watch highlights from every game of the 2018 season and stay up to date with news from across the USL at the league's official Facebook page, facebook.com/USL Soccer. Now Red Army continues to bring the ruckus regardless of the score.
Go Greg, just putting pressure on the ball. Does get there a little bit late. Don't think there was much malicious. I think Doyle using some of his experience he's got, just slowing the game down. At this point, up 2-0, 5 minutes before halftime, I don't think Nashville's going to be in much of a rush. If they can get into the locker room up 2-0, they'll be really happy with the way the first half went.
Doyle sufficiently recovered to restart as Boehm went into the book in the 39th minute. Here's Kimura. Now Mensah. Kimura. Davis for Doyle. Now Agamang will try to close him down. Washington. Reed back for Davis, and now they'll restart through Dickens. Probing for Mensah. He'll challenge Yearwood again. Milan Roberts. And Spangenberg there to clean up as LaGrassa was providing pressure.
Yeah, a bit of miscommunication there between Roberts and Spangenberg. I think Roberts thought Trevor was going to come out for it. Trevor thought he was just going to clear it. Results in a corner.
So Nashville gets the corner, 42nd minute. Michael Reed will take it, one of the two goal scorers tonight. 7th-year pro out of New Mexico. That was off Doyle. Now Reed with service. Akinyode's header winds up a Richmond goal kick. No, he was going to go the other way. Referee says corner.
Yeah, service back in the box. He goes far post where all the big boys are. It did look like it came off a kicker. I think Mikel Williams or Milan Roberts in behind got ahead to it.
Reed again will take the corner.
Being heckled in the corner, some future Red Army members right there.
That's an interesting idea, by the way. Is Williams able to tip it away from Hume. Roberts, and a whistle in the box against Nashville. The junior Red Army, or like they could have camps. They could have summer camps.
They sit in the opposite corner and just heckle people too.
Teach your children the art of heckling and pyrotechnics. Learn to consume beverages. Here's Fernando. I think we're on to something.
I like it.
Umar. Gonzalez. Doyle there to start the clearing process. Washington forcing Umar to retreat. Agamang. Little space. Shriver. Agamang. Table for one, please.
Yeah, and Yearwood was wide open down this left side. Good little interchange between Agamang, Shriver, and Gonzalez, but Yearwood made a good run down the left side and had a lot of space if they could have gotten him the ball. But it's a good attacking foul by Richmond. I mean, down 2-0, they're still looking to get forward, still looking to get shots on target. But Matt Pickens still hasn't had much to do.
Final minute of the regulation first half, 45. Brandon Eaton rolls it back to Spangenberg. Both goalkeepers with the Major League Soccer experience. We have 1 minute of additional action here in the first half, so about 90 seconds remaining of the opening half as Roberts probes for Eaton. Now Fernando. And a solid tackle from Washington. Pressure from Fernando, but he wound up fouling Akinyode. Akinyode, native of Nigeria, but played college soccer at Seton Hall. We are in first half stoppage time. Amongst the injuries this season, the really nice substitution extra time board the kickers had, that went down about a third of the way into the year and apparently is still in rehab.
Still in rehab.
Getting those light bulbs.
Pumping them up.
Hopefully we'll see it back next season.
Yeah, there should be some improvements done to the stadium in the off season. I know they've got their 30-year plan with the 40-year lease to the stadium, and it's going to be interesting to see how the stadium improves. There's so much history here.
Agamang came up with a turnover, then recovered by Akinyode, who went down in front of Gary Smith, who wasn't very happy with how the officials chose to adjudicate that. But his team up 2-0 in a game they have to have. Yearwood. And that will do it. First half runs out, and Richmond will have regrouping to do. Nashville SC 45 minutes away from a massive 3 points. They struck early, and though the kickers pressed a lot of the flow of the play, end product elusive. Nashville SC 2, Richmond Kickers 0 at halftime. Halftime activity next on ESPN+.
Is a meteorologist at CBS 6, but Nikki D. Ray does all kinds of jobs. Roll call.
I'm Nikki D, the construction worker. I'm Nikki D, the insurance agent. I'm Nikki D, the doctor. I'm Nikki D, the fast food cook. I'm Nikki D, the referee. I'm Nikki D, the teacher. I'm Nikki D, the beekeeper. I'm Nikki D, the race car driver.
Nikki D, Can You Be Me? On CBS 6 this morning.
Hurry in for big savings on Rogue with ProPilot Assist that helps keep you centered in your lane. The technology of tomorrow, available today. This is your last chance to save on America's best-selling SUV and our entire lineup. It's time for an upgrade. Hurry in to Nissan now. Exclusive offers and this event end April 2nd. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on 13 models or save up to $10,500 on select models.
Make time to escape to the coast and enjoy 60 miles of beautiful beaches and let the sound of the ocean's tide take you to your happy place. Now's the perfect time to book your spring getaway to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Besides, you deserve it. Seize your moment now and come, let go, and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
Let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
She works as a meteorologist at CBS 6, but Nikki D. Ray does all kinds of jobs. Roll call.
I'm Nikki D, the construction worker. I'm Nikki D, the insurance agent. I'm Nikki D, the doctor. I'm Nikki D, the fast food cook. I'm Nikki D, the referee. I'm Nikki D, the teacher. I'm Nikki D, the beekeeper. I'm Nikki D, the race car driver.
Nikki D, Can You Be Me? On CBS 6 this morning. Crime Insider with John Burkett.
Tonight, insider information on a story we've been working on for 7 weeks. Deputies say 2 inmates try to make a run for freedom. Crime Insider sources tell me 3 boys are on the run tonight. He was shot, according to my sources. Daniels was arrested and charged with multiple crimes, including attempted capital murder of a police officer.
Next thing I know,
Crime Insider.
We're back at City Stadium. John Emmett along with Ronnie Pascal at halftime. Richmond Kickers in a familiar hole, though they carried a lot of the flow of the play in the opening 45. Nashville SC with a 2-0 lead as the Kickers wrap up the home portion of their schedule tonight, trying to end an 8-match winless streak, and they've had a little more offensive life in their last couple of games. Meanwhile, for Nashville, it's a game that they desperately need to try to wrap up a playoff spot. And early on, it was the Kickers pressing the flow.
Yeah, a good ball forward that accidentally hits Luis in the back of the head, and we're able to get a shot by Brian Shriver. And then here's another dangerous opportunity. Shriver tries to hit it back across the front of the goal, but you can see there's no red inside the 6-yard box again. So while they're creating chances, again, Brian Shriver, Raul Gonzalez kind of combine, and a ball slid over to Luis, who just can't connect to it. While they were dangerous, they didn't put anything really on target to bother Matt Pickens. And conversely, Mensah puts a really good ball across the top of the 6. Trevor Spangenberg gets a hand to it, but unfortunately for Richmond, it's Tucker Hume who's the first one to react and gets ahead to it just in the right spot at the right time.
Hume with his 6th goal of the year, 3 at the expense of the Kickers.
And then Mensah again down the right side, just puts a ball in a really good spot. Mikael Williams in the right spot, tries to clear the ball, hits it off Michael Reed, and Nashville's up 2-0.
And that's when you know you're living clean if you're Michael Reed.
Yeah, I mean, he really just tried to get out of the way and ended up getting there. But Richmond, again, they had a majority of the possession. They had some good combination play, some decent balls into the box, but Matt Pickens so far has had a pretty easy 45 minutes. Luis, again, out wide, does some really good work, but hits the ball over instead of maybe putting it in a dangerous spot like Mensah's done. And then Prince Aguimang still going after the goal. But, you know, Richmond's done some good stuff, but it's the execution, the final pass, the final shot that needs to be better.
And it's Nashville SC 2, Richmond 0 at the break. Back with the halftime numbers next on ESPN+.
Nissan now. Hurry in for big savings on Rogue, America's best-selling SUV, and our entire lineup. Event ends April 2nd. Get 0% for up to 72 months on 13 models.
Make time to escape to the coast and enjoy 60 miles of beautiful beaches and let the sound of the ocean's tide take you to your happy place. Now's the perfect time to book your spring getaway to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Besides, you deserve it. Seize your moment now and come, let go, and unwind on Myrtle Beach time.
let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach time.
Don't miss out. It's the final days of Nissan Now. Hurry in for big savings on Rogue, America's best-selling SUV, and our entire lineup. Event ends April 2nd. Get 0% for up to 72 months on 13 models.
She works as a meteorologist at CBS 6, but Nikki D. Ray does all kinds of jobs. Roll call.
I'm Nikki D, the construction worker. I'm Nikki D, the insurance agent. I'm Nikki D, the doctor. I'm Nikki D, the fast food cook. I'm Nikki D, the referee. I'm Nikki D, the teacher. I'm Nikki D, the beekeeper. I'm Nikki D, the race car driver.
Nikki D, Can You Be Me? On CBS 6 this morning. Crime Insider with John Burkett.
Tonight, insider information on a story we've been working on for 7 weeks. Deputies say 2 inmates try to make a run for freedom. Crime Insider sources tell me 3 boys are on the run tonight. He was shot, according to my sources. Daniels was arrested and charged with multiple crimes, including attempted capital murder of a police officer.
Next thing I know,
pow. Crime Insider. She works as a meteorologist at CBS 6, but Nikki D. Ray does all kinds of jobs. Roll call.
I'm Nikki D, the construction worker. I'm Nikki D, the insurance agent. I'm Nikki D, the doctor. I'm Nikki D, the fast food cook. I'm Nikki D, the referee. I'm Nikki D, the teacher. I'm Nikki D, the beekeeper. I'm Nikki D, the race car driver.
Nikki D, Can You Be Me? On CBS 6 this morning.
We're back at City Stadium. John Emmett with Ronnie Pascal at halftime. Richmond Kickers trailing the Nashville SC 2-0. Meanwhile, news from around the league, Tampa Bay Rays purchasing the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So Major League Baseball getting further involved in lower division soccer. And the Rowdies, who have not been shy about spending money, it's kind of curious to see how that moves forward.
Yeah, it's anytime you have an ownership group with some money, I think it's going to be good for the organization and kind of gives them a solid foundation as they play next year in the USL Championship.
El Paso now, El Paso Locomotive Football Club, and that's an interesting franchise. Just across the river is Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, which briefly had a team in Liga MX, the Mexican top division, and that franchise kind of disappeared in a hurry, but you would think that would be a really good soccer market, and it's obviously a very cool name.
Yeah, they, the USL is just reaching all sorts of different areas geographically, and I think they're looking for cities that are going to give you that good soccer market, and El Paso is absolutely one of those cities. So I think it's a good move by the USL. It's a pretty cool branding, and it's going to be interesting to see how they do.
The Madison franchise, which will apparently be closely tied to Minnesota United, naming Daryl Shore their head coach, and we'll see him here next season.
Yeah, Daryl's a former goalkeeper coach. He actually coached Matt Pickens, who we're watching tonight when he was an assistant with the Chicago Fire. Coached in the USL, or the former A-League in USL, some early on in his season. Most recently was with Real Salt Lake, and he was actually their interim coach before they brought in Mike Pecky. So he's got a wealth of experience, and it's going to be good to see him back here.
Halftime stats presented by Valpak. Valpak, your 24/7 source for nonstop savings on hundreds of Richmond area businesses and local restaurants. Don't have the famous blue envelope with you? Download the free Valpak app for even easier savings. Valpak.com. It is like printing money. So the Kickers actually outshooting Nashville in the opening 45, but shots on goal, a different story, maybe the key stat.
Yeah, it's like we talked about. They were really good in possession, but something has to come from that possession. And while they created some opportunities, none of them were really clear-cut chances. None of them were dangerous shots. Matt Pickens honestly did well with what he had to do, but it was a pretty easy first 45 for him.
Greg Bame did go into the book and is currently playing on a yellow as teams return to the field. It appears neither side will offer a halftime change. The Kickers will be Trevor Spangenberg in net. Back four of Austin Yearwood, Milan Roberts, Mikael Williams, Brandon Eaton, then Oscar Umar in a holding midfield role with Greg Bame, and then Prince Agamang up front, Luis Fernando, Raul Gonzalez roaming the wings, Brian Shriver up top in a 4-1-4-1 for Nashville. It is the veteran Matt Pickens in goal, a back four, which is anchored that spot over the last month without change. Taylor Washington and Kosuke Kimura, the outside backs, Justin Davis, Liam Doyle, the center backs, and then a midfield of Bolu Akinyode kind of playing the holding midfield role. Matt LaGrassa a little further up, and then Michael Reed and Rapapa Mensah roaming the wings, and Alan Wynn and Tucker Hume up top. Hume and Reed have the goals tonight. It is Nashville 2, Richmond 0 with 45 minutes remaining of the home campaign.
Yeah, I know Nashville came in, I think the first half went exactly how they wanted. They really weren't bothered too much defensively. Sat back, let Richmond possess the ball a bit, didn't really press too high. And they scored the 2 goals. So going into halftime with a 2-0 lead, it could be dangerous. They say 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer, as Manchester United showed us earlier, as we talked about. But, we have 45 minutes left at home for Richmond for them to prove something to their fans. The Red Army's been fantastic. It's actually a pretty decent crowd tonight. So let's see what the next 45 minutes has in store.
Kickers are in the red. They will kick off to start the final 45. Attacking the goal to our right, and we do get a change. Giuseppe Gentile is into the kicker's side on the left.
For Greg Bohm.
So Richmond has made the first change of the game, and it's really a considerably more offensive sub. With Bame kind of a holding midfielder, and now Gentile, who's stock and trade, is working up top.
Yeah, it looks like Raul Gonzalez kind of slid into that central midfield role where Greg Bohm was. He's probably going to play more as an attacking center midfielder, and I expect to see Giuseppe Gentile tuck more in as a forward next to Brian Shriver.
Eaton trying to find Gentile, who gets his first touch, but unable to keep the ball in play. And a goal kick coming for Nashville.
Giuseppe Gentile's been a player who's had a couple bright spots this year, but he's had a lot of injuries he struggled through. So he seems to finally be fit for a consistent amount of time and getting his fitness back. And Coach Buelow said he's been really, really good in practice lately. So we'll see if some of that can translate into tonight.
The Miami native, a former Chicago Fire draft pick. Reed heading that ball forward, and then Yearwood, who's been pressed by Mensah all night, clearing it out for a throw. Kimura will restart. Mensah. Gonzalez slipped the boot in. Williams heads forward. Davis played it along. Now Umar. That was deflected away by LaGrassa. Agamang. Brian Shriver. Again, Agamang. Picks out Fernando. Tipped away by Davis. Fernando again. Great hustle by Umar to try to keep that alive, but it's broken up by Wynn. Speculative ball gathered in by Yearwood. Fernando. Now Gonzalez. Williams. Brandon Eaton. Gonzalez. Gentile. Out from Milan Roberts. Now Yearwood. Advantage played. Yearwood's ball in. Jammed away by Davis. Fernando got a piece, but LaGrassa able to clear. Richmond continues to press.
Great ball whipped in there by Yearwood. Almost fell to Giuseppe Gentile, but it was cleared away at the last minute.
Prince Agamang. Fernando. Yearwood. Agamang out for Oscar Umar, who scored the first goal of the season. Eaton's service in. Headed cleared by Doyle. Gonzalez.
Again, the intention is really good by Richmond. Raul Gonzalez working hard, has an opportunity, just needs to get that on target. At least make Matt Pickens make a save.
On the upside, it probably would have been good from 50.
You know, if he got the ball at midfield and Matt Pickens was out, I think that was the perfect shot.
Here's Umar. Williams for Eaton. Slows down by Wynn. Earns a Nashville throw. Taylor Washington will restart the fray. Played his college soccer at George Mason. One of those New York guys who finds his way down to Virginia.
Heard that story before.
Here's Agamang. Now Yearwood. Shriver. Yearwood for Agamang. Now Fernando. Nashville continues to make the final third inhospitable. Brandon Eaton. He finds some space. Eaton has a go, but Doyle makes sure that does not trouble Pickens. It is, however, a Richmond corner.
First shot that was going to be on target for Richmond all night. Really well done by Brandon right there. Cuts into his left foot. See, he has some space, takes a little touch. It's a good curling ball going far post. I think Matt Pickens would have had it covered.
And now Eaton has another go, but that one less troubling.
Yeah, that was a little bit more ambitious, we'll say. Maybe the better option was trying to curl a ball far post to where all the big boys were, but still the intention is there. They're trying to score goals. They're trying to have shots. Just the execution needs to be a little bit better, or a lot better.
Well, 6 minutes into the second half, Nashville out in front 2-0. Nashville scoring twice in the opening 45 in the 20th and 29th minutes. Both goals created by Rapapa Mensah work along the right wing. Hume and Reed, the goal scorers. Free kick coming here for Nashville.
It's going to be fun to watch Nashville next season. as they prepare for their first year in MLS of what kind of roster they build next year. Are they going to spend a lot of money on players to try to keep them, guys who can step into MLS, or are they going to completely overhaul the roster?
Here's Washington. And his serve is kind of misplayed by Yearwood a little bit. And that gives Mensah an opportunity to do more damage. Agamang taking advantage of that bounce, and now Fernando trying to clear, and he just drilled Mensah. Mensah getting medical attention. He was inadvertently in the way of a clear out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that ball hit him.
Meanwhile, David Bulow trying to gather some of his people.
Yep. Right off the side of the head. That hurts when you're not expecting it. Just kind of get drilled in the side of the head like that. But good sportsmanship by Luis right away, checking on him, making sure he's okay.
Mensah will come off momentarily, but it looks like he's going to head right back to the center line.
Yeah, he's clearly been the most dangerous player for Nashville tonight. Every time he gets the ball, he just looks to go forward and take people on and get the ball in the box.
Here's Oscar Umar for Richmond. Yearwood. Comfortable for Pickens.
That final execution again. I mean, just lofting balls into the six for Matt Pickens to pick off.
Win from LaGrassa, hounded by Agamang, and Shriver gets a touch for Gentile. Gentile looking back post. And again, it's a goal kick. Matt Pickens, less experience, includes New England and Colorado, and has played a bit overseas. Drafted back in 2004 by Chicago. Mensah and Yearwood scrap. Yearwood the back pass for Trevor Spangenberg. And David Bulow. Let go some ball boys next season and use that money and put it in the player pool, because Bulow has that part of the sideline covered.
Yeah, he's not scared to show off his skill. Seems to attract the ball, same as he did when he was a forward. Always in the right place at the right time, like most good goal scorers are.
Brandon Eaton left that one a little bit light. And LaGrassa comes away with possession for win. It's 3-0 Nashville.
Yeah, LaGrassa just read that one right from the very beginning. As soon as Brandon Eaton turned back, LaGrassa knew exactly what he was going to do.
And if there's a poster moment of the second half of the season, that might be it right there.
Yeah. Great run in behind, really good ball to him. Milan Roberts tries to get over and recover, but just a great little ball, well weighted, right in behind the backs. And a nice cheeky little finish there just to put the ball away by Wynn.
So Alan Wynn with his fourth goal of the season, the former North Carolina Tar Heel.
You know, it's going back again. You look at the overall night for Richmond. They have possession. They create some dangerous chances. They get a deflection for the first goal that is responded to first by Hume. Second one is just a deflected clearance, and now a bad giveaway in the back, and it leads to another goal. Every mistake they make, they get punished for this year.
So Hume, Reed, and now Wynn. It is 3-0 Nashville as they continue to take a significant step toward the playoffs, and win with service from LaGrassa, who just picked up his first assist of the campaign. Northern California native who played his college soccer at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And the Kickers now really chasing the game. Gonzalez for Eaton. Now Gonzalez. That was deflected clear by LaGrassa, but only as far as Umar, who was trying to pick Shriver out. And it winds up a goal kick.
Looking at Richmond's bench, they really don't have many offensive options. Maybe they can bring on Udai Amora. He's probably the only guy who's left to give him some offensive spark.
Lee, Thompson, Lavity, Shinosky, and then Imura are the available outfield players. Richmond with 2 subs left. Spangenberg out to play that. Eaton for Gonzalez. And that's broken up by Wynn, who got stepped on in the process and earns a free kick. Matt Franz, our center referee tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Udai come in for either Raul or Prince sometime in the next 10 minutes. Try to give a little bit more of a spark.
Shriver comes away with that ball. Now Agamang looking for Gentile. More promising build-up. Fernando. Luis Fernando in traffic. Pickens had to do work for the first time tonight. It's a Richmond throw. Takes quickly for Umar. Agamang. Milan Roberts. Yearwood. Nice move from Yearwood. He sees it out for a corner.
Yeah, and that was really similar to Nashville's first goal, where a ball whipped in across. Matt Pickens is able to get a big hand on it, but puts the rebound right in a dangerous spot. But if you look up, there's no red jerseys.
Shriver will take the corner. It's headed clear by Wynn. Now Mikel Williams. Umar. Now Umar, an interesting ball in, but Pickens able to cut off Milan Roberts.
Yeah, nice little through ball in behind to your center back who's still up off the corner. You don't see that every day.
Roberts with the kind of speed that once earned him a couple of days in an off-season training camp with the Edmonton Eskimos. Don't see a lot of that here either. Washington back to play for Nashville. Win for Akinyode. Now they'll restart with Pickens. Doyle. USL made history this past weekend as the league passed the 2.5 million mark in total attendance for 2018, and they weren't all in Cincinnati. Thank you to soccer fans who have made this the highest attended lower division season in North American soccer history.
Yeah, Cincinnati really is incredible. Week in, week out, you look at Soccer America post the top 10 attendance for any soccer game in the U.S., and every home game in Cincinnati is top 5 easily.
And here comes Udai Amura. Not sure if they'll get it in on this whistle, but Amura will replace Brandon Eaton. An interesting move.
wonder if they're just going to go to 3 in the back or if they're going to have Raul Gonzalez slide back there. Looks like that's what's happening.
Gonzalez did play maybe that first or second game when they went 4-1, 4-1 after Alex Lee's retirement.
Yeah.
We were told a couple of different options in the meeting before the game. And the one that nobody saw coming was the one they went to. But that was a one-and-done experiment.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's going to drop in as a true right back or if he's going to play more as a right wing back, getting forward more.
Williams stepping into that pass and trying to send Gentile the other way. Doyle back to clean it up and just about shot that one to the downtown expressway.
Yeah, and it's the pressure from Brian Schreiber. Again, I've been really impressed with him all season. Just his work rate, the way he leads by example out there on the field, making great runs. And by far the most dangerous player for Richmond all season.
LaGrossa the foul on Schreiber. And then a quick restart from Gonzalez that does not meet with the referee's etiquette approval. They'll try it again.
Yeah, and you see LaGrossa just coming in late. Raul Gonzalez tries to spin away from him, but clips his back foot and is able to draw the foul.
Schreiber will take the free kick here. So now has used 2 of their 3 available subs. We're just past the hour mark. Nashville with their original 11. As Mr. France lectures the lads on sportsmanship in the box. Agamang! Bud Pickens right there.
Yeah. I guess the positive is it was on target. The not so great is that a shot like that's got to be hit with a lot more power to beat someone like Pickens. But good set piece. Aguiman wide open for the shot, but right at Pickens and.
Oh, and here's a break, but desperate defending from Yearwood, denying Mensah on the doorstep.
What a tackle by Yearwood.
Roberts with the back pass for Trevor Spangenberg, who was bailed out there. Here's Reed.
Mensah did a really good job of getting around Spangenberg right there, and Spangenberg did pretty well of not taking him out, forcing him wide, and Yearwood just able to recover, gets a big foot on it.
More Mensah versus Yearwood. Mensah's service in, and Spangenberg there to deny Hume a possible brace. Gonzalez out for Gentile. Gentile, the Miami native. Now Yearwood. Oscar Umar. Broken up by Davis, but Imura now for Richmond. Imura going to keep that in play, maybe win a corner off Davis, but it's a goal kick.
So what's the Red Army going to do with all the smoke they have if the kickers don't score tonight?
The drive home might be a little cloudy.
I think they should start any good play. They should just light off a smoke bomb. Yearwood clears it, light off a smoke bomb.
I'm for that.
I know they've got plenty. They bought a lot before the season started.
Imura's touch interrupted by Hume. Washington now for Nashville. He was trying to send Wynn, but a little heavy, and Spangenberg there to clean up. Now Gonzalez, 3-0 Nashville lead. Goals in the 20th, 29th, and 56th minutes. Gonzalez, Gentile, Agamang, looking for Imura, a little drop off, Gentile.
Again, it's good by Richmond going forward. The combination play up top, the possession leading to good chances is great. It's just that final effort. Great layoff by Udai. And Giuseppe just can't hit the target.
He's had a frustrating season. been a fairly prolific goal scorer in the North American League with Ottawa, Fort Lauderdale, Puerto Rico Football Club. Williams up for the header. Wynn plays it along. Hume lays it off for Mensah. Now back for Reed. Doyle forces Davis to do some work. Back pass for Pickens.
Pressure again by Brian Shriver up top, forcing Pickens just to thump it forward.
Here's Udai Amura. Look at Nashville's first sub shortly, it appears. Ryan James is putting the game gear on. Umar able to subdue that ball and finds Yearwood. Now Agamang. Umar, Shriver, Imura. Umar for Agamang. Now Fernando. Agamang. Bounce to Shriver. Agamang, Shriver. And product remains elusive. And we're going to get James here. It will be James for LaGrassa. Well, LaGrassa departs with an assist tonight. And Ryan James will join the fray momentarily. Former Rochester Rhino. Native Canadian who played college soccer at Bowling Green, which had the War of 1812 turned out just a little differently. Might have been in Canada.
Some more good combination play by Richmond in the box. Just someone needs to get a toe poke, something to give Matt Pickens something to do tonight.
One of those goals like Reed where it hits him and he doesn't even see the ball.
Yeah. There's so many players inside the 18-yard box, inside the 6. Just get something on it. Doesn't have to be pretty. They all count.
No Pickens for the restart. Williams gathers it in. Now Raul Gonzalez. Shadowed by Wynn. Umar out to Milan Roberts. From Edmonton by way of Sierra Leone. Umar. Roberts hounded by James, who's making an instant pest of himself. Spangenberg for Williams. 20 minutes remaining of the Kickers' home schedule. And they salvage a goal. Here comes Gonzalez. Closed down by Washington, but Imura there. Richmond gets a throw. Gentile. Gonzalez. Williams. Roberts. Fernando. Agamang. Well defended by Akinyode. Shriver. Agamang. Imura. Mensah pokes it free. Kicker's throw coming. As we enter the 72nd minute. Nashville now 18 minutes shy of a massive 3 points. Fernando. Yearwood. Udai Imura. Doyle heads only as far as Fernando. Here's Shriver, and that's closed down by Doyle. And Reed handling the Imura service. Mensa against Yearwood. Nashville throw coming. Substitute James getting a touch. Kimura playing back. All the way through Pickens. Now Liam Doyle. And a foul whistled against Umar. Reed went down hard. Umar gets talking to. And we will see the physio come out here for Nashville.
Yeah, it's a hard foul by Umar. Gets kind of leaning the wrong direction. Chops him down. I think he'll be all right, just kind of doing what a team would do when they're up 3-0.
He continues to receive treatment. Get an inside look at life on and off the field from a player's perspective every Wednesday evening in the latest edition of From the Pitch at USL Soccer. Nashville with 2 games remaining following tonight. Tuesday they're back home. So a very short turnaround as NCFC comes to town. And Scott Thompson is going to be the Kickers' third and final substitution of the evening.
It's good to see Scott get on the field tonight. Had a couple bright moments. Like a lot of players with Richmond, had to deal with a bunch of injuries this year. But he's a guy I could see sticking around. Kind of local kid. Could see him coming back and earning a pretty good starting spot with the Kickers next year.
UVA product who grew up in New Jersey but was part of an outstanding run at the University of Virginia. Spent some time with Orlando City B, which will be magically resurrected next season as part of USL League One. Meanwhile, Michael Reed, the veteran captain, appears in less distress.
It's not in much of a rush to get off the field, is he?
No, he is taking his time.
Nashville's third goal. This is LaGrasso, who already came off, but just a brilliantly weighted ball in behind, and I mean, just tucks it away as easy as could be.
And a gentle touch at the end by Alan Wynn, the Texas native. Wynn, Reed, and Hume, the goals. Umar will depart for Scott Thompson. He's been asked to do a couple of different things tactically this season, including some work at left back.
Yeah, I think he's going to slide Raul Gonzalez back into the midfield, and he's going to tuck in on that right side, play as a right back, and expect to see him going forward quite a bit these last 15 minutes. The Red Army really has done a fantastic job tonight. Quite honestly, all season. I mean, if you had to give an MVP of this year, even though it hasn't been very good, I would definitely give it to the Red Army. The support, the noise, the energy and enthusiasm they bring. It's every night. It's great. It's what a fan club should be, and I know every single Richmond Kickers player not only appreciates it, but feels bad for the way the season's gone.
They are certainly in playoff form as Doyle restarts. And Thompson gets an immediate touch for Imura. Thompson is in that right back spot, which allows Gonzalez to roam further up the pitch in more familiar territory now. Mikel Williams trotting forward. Here's Agamang, so he'll play the full 90 tonight. Fernando goes down under the Akinyode challenge, and a bit of a Soft whistle goes Richmond's way there.
Yeah, I think Luis jumped a little bit, but I find that one hard to argue with. That was a foul. That was definitely, he definitely got him. Let's see it. Maybe.
I've seen more vicious fouls this season. What an opportunity for the kickers with the set piece here.
They're going to have a go.
Gonzalez standing over it. It's Gonzalez. Pickens forced to pay attention.
Good footwork by Matt Pickens, gets his body behind it. Pretty easy ball to control. He does really well not to give up a rebound.
Washington sent Thompson on his horse. Now Williams, Yearwood, Fernando, Gonzalez as runners, probes back post. Goal kick coming. Just over 12 minutes from time, and Nashville now virtually assured 3 points, which will they get a little bit of love on the out-of-town scoreboard, have them in the thick of a playoff spot. And they are not mathematically out of the 5 seed. Yearwood up for the header. That was played by Reed. Akiyode heading it back. Shriver wins that ball for Gentile, who was hoping for Fernando, but winds up a throw as we're going to get Nashville's second change, and it's Robin Schrute.
Is that the son of Dwight Schrute?
May very well be if Dwight spent any time in London. Schrute, I think he's going to replace Reed here. And that is Reed going off. So Robin Schrute will get some late run. He is a veteran of the lower divisions of English football. Has also spent some time in the Nordic countries. Came up through AFC Wimbledon. And is making only his 6th appearance of the season with Nashville, but his 210th professional game. And Schrute promptly fouls Uday Amura. Maybe he is Dwight Schrute's son.
Make your presence felt right away.
Here's Amura. Scott Thompson. Thompson service. That's headed away by Kimura. Kimura off the feed from Mensah. Clearing as far as Roberts, now Agamang. And Schrute goes down under the Agamang challenge. And Agamang is going to take a trip to the book. He's not very happy about it.
Now, and he has to turn around and look at the referee. I think he was complaining with Milan Roberts about something.
I was wondering at what point he would acknowledge his booking. Comes in the 81st minute. Second yellow of the night. Both have been issued to kickers. What you want to do here is stay away from what happened to Luis Fernando at the end of last season. Take a silly red that gets you suspended for the season finale and possibly further.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of frustration building with the players. You know, they're doing a lot of things well. They're doing a lot of things right, and they are working hard. It's just that final execution just isn't there on both sides of the field.
Here's Uday Amura.
I think they've now given up 28 goals in their last 9 games, which is averaging a little over 3 goals a game, which is a lot.
Gentile tumbling over Kimura. Schrute unable to keep it in play. Richmond throw coming, and we'll get one more sub for Nashville. Tucker Hume is going to call it a night. And we will get London Woodbury out of McKinney, Texas. Former FC Dallas draftee from the University of Maryland. His 18th appearance. He has a fair amount of MLS experience, 62 games, and he's scored a goal at that level. Here's Imura, Gentile, Yearwood. And again, Pickens there to maintain order. So both teams have blown through their allotted 3 substitutions.
It's another good ball served in by Yearwood, and just no one making a really aggressive run in the box for Richmond.
Here's Washington. James back for Akinyode. Washington. Davis. James again. Akinyode, nice job by Fernando to win the ball. Fernando, through ball for Gentile, unable to subdue the touch.
A little too much there from Luis. Good run forward by Gentile. That was a good aggressive run in behind the backs, and just about 6 inches off by Luis Fernando. I thought he was going to have a shot.
Doyle's probing ball off the head of Williams will be a throw for Nashville.
See, Luis does a really good job of fighting right there and maintaining possession of the ball. Gets in front of him, just slightly off. Giuseppe just can't catch up to it.
Agamang stepping into that throw, but his speculative ball handled by Kimura, who was under momentary Gentile pressure. Now here's James, one of the subs tonight. Doyle and Davis. Interesting shape here for Nashville. Davis way out wide. Now Washington. Broken up by Williams. And Thompson clears. Fernando for Agamang. Back to Fernando. Kickers just want to see some smoke before the home season ends, but Doyle right there. Mensah. Yearwood unable to keep it in play. Nashville's 4-0 win over Richmond August 28th was Nashville's season high in goals scored, their largest margin of victory. Red Army hoping they can dip into the pyrotechnics one more time in 2018. Akinyode. Now Davis. Washington, just over 4 minutes plus a stoppage from the end of the home season. And a massive road win for Nashville. Kickers have one more left. They'll be down in Gwinnett County, Georgia, which should be a huge grudge rivalry game because that's in the stadium that stole the Richmond Braves. Here's Imura. Probably not really high on any of the players' priorities, but
it's kind of what I was thinking. I don't know if anyone on this Kickers roster even knows that Richmond had a baseball team called the Braves at one point.
They're not going to go uphill with a cannon fire over that. I might. Here's Gonzalez, strong tackle from Akinyode, but only as far as Williams. Yearwood. He's not going to have the same ring as like Remember the Maine. Fernando, now Agamang. Not sure the intention there.
I think the stands back there have collected more balls than that Pickens has off kicker shots this half.
The one thing that's worked in the ball boys' favor is the large ads back there have caused all those balls to bounce back. They haven't had to climb up and retrieve them.
Back in my day, we had ball boys all over back there. Nah, you know, their intention is right. They're trying hard. The effort's there tonight. It's not a lack of effort from any player on the field. It's just a lack of final execution.
They'll play it back for Spangenberg here with now less than 3 minutes plus stoppage, and there should be a fair amount of stoppage time. A couple of injuries, and the goal in the series of subs might get 4 minutes. Here's Williams. Agamang. Gonzalez. Now Fernando. Agamang. Shriver. Scott Thompson. And Thompson winds up on the receiving end of a physical challenge from Taylor Washington.
Scott did a good job of staying on his feet, maintaining possession of the ball. Really 1v1, hard tackle, but he does a good job of staying on his feet.
Free kick coming here for Shriver. Leaves for Thompson, service in, is headed away by Washington.
Good ball by Scott Thompson. Again, a lack of a hard run to the near post by Richmond to try to get something on that first.
Thompson will restart. Here's Imura. Williams way up and in a battle with Kimura that winds up a goal kick. Voting for September's USL Player of the Month, Goal of the Month, and Save of the Month begins Thursday afternoon. It'll run through the weekend. Have your say on which players should take home the monthly award. So the home schedule now dwindling down to a precious few minutes. Nashville has been in control on the scoreboard since the 20th minute. Back in Yode. Kimura. Win. Now James. That's picked off by Yearwood. Gentile turning the Jets on, and he ran Woodbury over.
That should probably be a yellow card.
Gentile, I called a college football game earlier today, and I tell you that
would have been a good hit.
The biggest hit I've seen all day.
Yeah, just lowered his shoulder.
That's got to be at least a yellow, right?
You would think. Here it is. He's going into his pocket now. It's definitely not a red card, but definitely a yellow. And the Red Army salutes that with a little bit of smoke. I knew they had to do it sometime.
So Gentile goes in the book as we head for stoppage time. Woodbury, who was a late sub, is back on his feet. We are in stoppage time. Exactly how much is eluded our detection. But the Red Army going out hard.
They are, and I hope people in Richmond can appreciate what they do and what they bring to every game. It really is. Being a guy who's been here since 2000, to see that kind of support is really special.
Yearwood draws a foul while tussling with Schrute. We are a minute into an indeterminate amount of stoppage time. Here's Williams. Speculation is 4 minutes, which I thought is about what we'd get.
Yeah, I was thinking 4 or 5, somewhere around there.
Thompson back for Imura. Now Shriver. Little layoff for Thompson.
They're trying. Great touch by Brian Shriver in the box. I mean, every game he's doing things that other players on this roster can't do right now. And Scott Thompson, good run forward from his right back position, just failing to get that shot on target. And again, really not much to worry Matt Pickens that much.
Pickens still is worried. He's chewing on his back line there. He wants that clean sheet.
Yeah, that's one of the things all of us goalkeepers do.
42 of them in Major League Soccer.
He's got 13 in the USL this year, second in the league.
Here's Thompson.
This could be number 14.
Less than 2 minutes remaining of the home schedule, as we now are officially told. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Gentile. Fernando. That's broken up by James, recovered by Gentile. Service headed clear by Kimura. Recovered by Milan Roberts. Yeah, it was picked off by Washington, and he gallops the other way to lead the counter. Win. Washington, Williams is kind of water skiing a little bit, and a free kick coming here.
I was going to say that definitely hit Luis's hand right there. A pretty clear handball. I think the ref was waiting to see how it would play out before he blew the whistle.
Handball, the call after the tug on the jersey that went apparently undetected, and we are in just about the final 60 seconds of the 2018 campaign.
Luis goes to
Win
ground.
for Medsun. Spangenberg there. Maybe one more opportunity for Richmond to avoid a shutout in the final day of the home schedule. Gonzalez galloping forward. Yearwood. Shriver closed down by Doyle. Akinyode. Kimura. Gonzalez in the battle. Akinyode finds James. Broken up by Agamang, but it's out now with just seconds remaining. Nashville with no screaming hurry to take this throw. Kimura restarts, and that's it. The home schedule has come to an end. It's a massive 3 points for Nashville SC. They defeat Richmond 3-0 and take a significant stride toward grabbing a playoff spot. The Kickers, now winless in their last 9. David Bulow's squad will have one more chance to grab a win on the road in Atlanta next weekend to wrap it up. And we will wrap it up here from City Stadium next on ESPN+.
Don't miss out. It's the final days of Nissan Now. Hurry in for big savings on Rogue, America's best-selling SUV, and our entire lineup. Event ends April 2nd. Get 0% for up to 72 months on 13 models.
Make time to escape to the coast and enjoy 60 miles of beautiful beaches and let the sound of the ocean's tide take you to your happy place. Now's the perfect time to book your spring getaway to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Besides, you deserve it. Seize your moment now and come, let go, and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
Let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach time.
Don't miss out. It's the final days of Nissan Now. Hurry in for big savings on Rogue, America's best-selling SUV, and our entire lineup. Event ends April 2nd. Get 0% for up to 72 months on 13 models.
She works as a meteorologist at CBS 6, but Nikki D. Ray does all kinds of jobs. Roll call.
I'm Nikki D, the construction worker. I'm Nikki D, the insurance agent. I'm Nikki D, the doctor. I'm Nikki D, the fast food cook. I'm Nikki D, the referee. I'm Nikki D, the teacher. I'm Nikki D, the beekeeper. I'm Nikki D, the race car driver.
Nikki D, Can You Be Me? On CBS 6 this morning. Crime Insider with John Burkett.
Tonight, insider information on a story we've been working on for 7 weeks. Deputies say 2 inmates try to make a run for freedom. Crime Insider sources tell me 3 boys are on the run tonight. He was shot, according to my sources. Daniels was arrested and charged with multiple crimes, including attempted capital murder of a police officer.
Next thing I know,
pow.
Crime Insider.
There we go. We got a couple guys walking in the locker room already without doing a thing.
And back at City Stadium, John Emmett along with Ronnie Pascal. Kickers saying thanks to the Red Army for a great 2018 in the stands. On the field, a little different story. And tonight's script, an all too familiar one. Nashville comes in and wins 3-0 in the final home game of the regular season. A frustrating night for the Kickers, who had chances, but the final product elusive.
Yeah, they created chances. They had really good possession all night. And like we said, it was just that final pass, that final shot. A good ball in behind for Brian Shriver, who tries to cut it back, and no red jerseys there. Off a corner kick, a nice little set piece. The ball gets played into the box, and the header just can't get on target. On the other side, you get Mensah wide right, just whips the ball in a dangerous spot. Trevor Spangenberg does a great job to make the first save, but Hume is there to just to head in the second one, and you see kind of the Kickers' back line a little bit slow to react. Hume, again, was dangerous down that right side all night, gets a ball, again wide right, whips it in. Mikael Williams tries to clear the ball, just hits off the Nashville player, and it's the second goal. So kind of a microcosm of the season. There's some good things from Richmond, good possession, a couple dangerous chances, and defensive breakdowns lead to goals. Luis Fernando, again, puts a ball in a pretty similar position to Nashville's first goal, and Matt Pickens is there to get a hand to it, but really has nothing else to do. And then off of a giveaway by Richmond, a great ball played in behind, and just an easy slot for the third goal for Nashville. Nothing Trevor Spangenberg can do on that one. And again, it's a third goal. Richmond's been giving up a lot of goals this year. And it's an easy finish for Wynn, and makes it 3-0 and kind of cements the win and the 3 points for Nashville.
So Nashville sweeps the season series and shuts the Kickers out twice. And now the Kickers winless in their last 9 at 6-23-4, and they will finish the season next Saturday night in Gwinnett County, Georgia, against Atlanta United 2. Meanwhile, as Luis Fernando and some of the Kickers players celebrate the year with the Red Army, Evan Lee's over there. He was in the 18, but did not get minutes tonight. For Nashville, huge 3 points. Now they're sitting on 47 points for the season at 12, 9, and 11. They have 2 games remaining, one in hand on a couple of the folks that they're scuffling with for playoff spots. And depending on how the out-of-town scoreboard shapes up, they could be right now in the 6th position. Bethlehem Steel sitting on 46, Ottawa with 45, and North Carolina FC with 44 as the day begins. And Nashville is home Tuesday for another great opportunity to pick up 3 points against a very young Toronto FC 2 before they finish at home next Saturday against FC Cincinnati. And Cincinnati has long taken care of all of the business they need to take care of. That might be a vital game still for Nashville.
Yeah, and they might be one of those teams that's kind of buzzing and playing at their last couple games or playoff games. So if they are able to squeak into the playoffs, they could be a team that does damage. Conversely, for Richmond, you've got to look at this season as one that probably is going to be a season to forget. Looking forward, it'll be interesting to see how Coach Bulow can bring the team in. Probably reshape the roster. I would imagine there's going to be a pretty big overhaul, and bring in the players that he wants to fit his system. So, not the best season for Richmond, but definitely there was a lot of growth.
Nashville fans enjoy the win. It was good to see Kickaroo getting some post-match work in. Meanwhile, the Kickers come up short tonight. Our thanks to Ronnie all year. Been great. Really appreciate it. Mike Voyak, our producer director, all of the crew. Thank you, gentlemen. Also thanks to Patrick Wood of the Kickers office for all of his assistance. John Emmett for Ronnie Pascal. Nashville SC 3, Richmond nothing. Good night from City Stadium.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.